So you love a bunch of different interior design styles and you want to mix them all together. But how do you do so without making your apartment look like a random hodgepodge? In this video, I'm going to give you my tips for how to mix different interior styles without overwhelming your space. And this topic is actually inspired by one of my Instagram followers, Cassin Rosa, who asked the question, what if you love 2 or more styles, like boho and vintage glam? Can styles be blended? This is definitely a question I get asked a lot, so let's talk about the art of mixing different interior styles. And if you're new here, my name is Steffi, and on this channel I give small apartment styling tips and cozy living inspiration. So the short answer to the question of whether or not you can mix different interior styles is yes. Actually, it's a hell yes. Not only is it okay to mix different interior styles, I highly encourage it. First of all, I don't think it's really possible to stick with only one interior style. I mean, you'd have to have a lot of discipline to just stick with one style religiously. And frankly, it's just fun to play with a bunch of different styles. Playing around with a bunch of different styles in your space is a great way to put your own spin on interior styling. It's like coming up with your own decor recipe, like your own signature concoction of styles. Basically, mixing styles is where you can really express yourself creatively. So before you start mixing styles together, just willy-nilly, you want to really dial in on what your personal style is. And I mean get crystal clear on what different styles out there you gravitate toward. When you're scrolling through Pinterest, what are the commonalities between the pins that you're saving? Start noticing what do these images have in common? Are you seeing a lot of rustic elements throughout your images? Are you seeing a bunch of glam? Like, actually, I mean, get a little nerdy about it and list out what interior styles you find yourself liking. This is about not just passively taking in decor inspiration, but being very active about what is inspiring you. Become like a student of your own personal style. Start studying yourself. Start studying what you like. This sort of personal style self-discovery phase is crucial for mixing different interior styles together because you want to know what you love up front. Otherwise, your styling can kind of turn into this runaway train where you're not really sure what you're doing, and that's how the random hodgepodge happens. Okay, so once you feel like you've really honed in on which interior styles out there you genuinely love, then you can start mixing these styles together. And I have a few sort of tricks, styling tactics that will help you do so in a way where these different styles feel harmonious together rather than dissonant. And actually, a little bit of dissonance is a good thing, and I'll get to that. But overall, we want it to feel harmonious. So one thing you can do to make these multiple styles work together in an aesthetically pleasing way is to choose a neutral base color for the larger pieces of furniture that kind of unifies the space. Neutral colors include white, black, gray, taupe, different shades of brown. Now, you don't have to choose a neutral base color. You can go crazy with this if you want, especially if you're a maximalist. But a good trick for making it all work together in a really nice, pleasing way is to choose a neutral base color. I've used this example a few times before, but for a lot of the time in my studio apartment, my unifying neutral base color was dark gray. This made it so that even though my studio was quite small, 500 square feet, and you basically had a living room combined with a bedroom, combined with an office, all in one space, plus a maximalist sensibility and mixing a whole bunch of different interior styles together in this tiny space, simply having that neutral base color of gray sort of gave a nice clean canvas for all of the different styling stuff I was doing. So when in doubt, choose a neutral base color, make it so that your bedspread, your couch, basically all the big things in your space are all this one neutral base color. Another approach that you can use when mixing multiple styles in one space and keeping things coherent looking is to choose one primary style and one secondary style. And then you can choose a tertiary style and a fourth style. I don't know the word for that. Basically, this approach is sort of creating an interior style hierarchy for your space. And doing this makes it so that you allow one style to really shine and pretty much just like acts as the main character of your space. If you think about interior styling as storytelling, which any creative expression, whether you realize it or not, you are telling a story. Interior styling, you're telling a visual story within your space. And so if you think of the average story, you have a cast of characters. You have the main character, the hero, the protagonist, and then you have the other characters that propel the story. You can think of your interior styling in a similar way, especially when it comes to mixing multiple styles. So when creating a cohesive visual story in your space, think about the different interior styles as a cast of characters. Which style do you want to be the main character? Which style do you want to be the secondary character, the sort of sidekick? You can even choose a villain of the story if you want, and then have that represented in your space. I mean, the possibilities are endless. So think about that style hierarchy. What does your cast of characters look like, and how big of a part does each of them play? Another great way to mix different interior styles and have it all still feel cohesive is to find your through lines. So you may be mixing a bunch of different styles, but what are the things that you're repeating that unify the space? You can repeat the same accent colors. So even though maybe you have glam and rustic and mid-century modern, they can still feel unified by the repetition of the same color. You can also repeat materials. Maybe you have a lot of gold elements in your space, or maybe you have a lot of wood. Maybe there's sequins in a lot of different places, you know? There are so many ways that you can use materials to unify a space, even though there are a bunch of different interior styles going on. And you can also repeat themes, subject matter. And this is a great way to incorporate the things you love in your space. What are the things that you're a fan of? I'm personally a huge music nerd, so I love implementing music into my space. And by repeating the subject matter of music, that creates a through line. So no matter how many different styles are going on, they are all unified by the subject matter of music. So when you're mixing styles in your space, think about what you can repeat so that even though there might be a bunch of different styles going on, they're unified by the through line of your choice. Color, material, subject matter. Think about how you can repeat these things. And you'll find that repeating something creates a sense of cohesiveness. Another thing to keep in mind while mixing different interior styles in your space is you don't really have to shy away from dissonance. I touched on this earlier. We've been talking a lot about harmony, we've been talking a lot about cohesiveness, but to a certain extent, a little bit of dissonance, a little bit of not really making sense, or a little bit of strangeness even. It's not about perfection, and it's not about complete and total harmony. Let's embrace a little bit of the opposite of harmony, which is dissonance. It's jazz, you know, with all of its dissonant chords and experimentation, your styling can have some of that as well. Dissonance can be those little unexpected details in your space. It can be like a big feathered lamp in an otherwise minimalist space. It can be a big statement-making piece of art that doesn't necessarily make sense in the room, but it still looks so cool and stylish. It's the kind of thing that makes people say, whoa, that looks so cool, I never would have thought to put that there. You know what I mean? So basically, just in this quest for harmony and cohesiveness among different interior styles, just don't be afraid of a little bit of dissonance. There's beauty in dissonance. And, you know, get a little weird with it. So those were some of my tips for mixing multiple styles in a small space. Again, I am a firm believer that we must mix multiple styles. This is how you're going to keep things interesting in your space. Have fun with it, experiment, massage things around in your space until you get that feeling, you know, where everything seems to click together. There's a lot of trial and error involved in this, so don't be too hard on yourself if things don't immediately click together. Let me know in the comments below, what interior styles do you like to mix together in your space? And remember, your apartment is destined to be pretty, and you are pretty powerful.